Samkele Maseko is in Ulundi. This is where the king held his imbizo today. Good evening, Samkele. It was quite an afternoon. The king spending a number of hours behind that microphone. But perhaps speak to us about the kind of mood that you found in Ulundi amongst those who came to hear what he had to say.
Well, Kathy, all I can say is that there is no love for the former president of the country and the former secretary general of the ANC and the former deputy president of the ANC here in Ulundi, King Goodwill Zwelithini. These people are saying who are Amabutu, the king's regiments. They're basically saying they've got no love for former President Kgalema Motlanthe. Even the king himself saying even those who started this debate, he wishes that they can continue fighting amongst themselves. I'm going to say it in isiZulu, Kathy, in his words. I quote, nalabo abavuse lolu daba ngathi bengaxabana kakhulu bebodwa, basically saying, unquote there, Kathy, that even those who have started this debate of that high-level panel by former President Kgalema Motlanthe and those who are in government saying that they must continue fighting amongst themselves, even saying those who are leading the current administration, they are thieves and they do not care about the people. They only see them as voting cattle, declaring that the land belonging to the Zulu kingdom will not go away as long as he is still the king of the Zulu nation.
And one of the things that he also seems to have spoken about, Samkele, was that should they be pushed at least to a point where an ultimatum has been issued, they are perhaps not reluctant about moving out of South Africa, as he puts it, and taking the Zulu nation with him.
Yes, Kathy, earlier on this year in January, he did make that suggestion that if they are carried on to be pushed, that they are not afraid. He is particularly not afraid of anyone, and he has survived the most of trying times, and that he is a soldier who was born of the bloodshed of the late king. You'd remember July 4th has a significant history to the Zulu nation by the death of King Goodwill, referencing that where King Goodwill was killed by the English and British during that war that took place during those times in the apartheid era and colonialism. So he is basically referencing history and also saying that if they are pushed, they will seek to have KwaZulu-Natal as its own independent country, separate from South Africa. He echoed those words earlier on this year in January, and also seemingly somewhat subtly repeating them today, and also saying that they are not scared, they are not afraid of anyone, but for now let them seek a political solution. There must be an engagement with those in power and with government before there is any blood that should be shed. Basically saying that he is not starting a war, he does not want a war, he is a peaceful man, he is a God-fearing person who is a Christian and does not want any bloodshed.
All right, Samkele, well, one of the things that we also see the king, of course, focusing a lot on has been about what exactly those that, of course, he represents have to say about the land expropriation without compensation. Speak to us about the process that will unfold from here on in terms of getting input from various communities about what they would like to see happen.
Well, Kathy, the king is saying that this must not be a political party issue. Political parties must not fight about this issue, saying that when the land was taken away from black people and from the Zulus in particular, they were not taken away from the ANC, the EFF, the DA, COPE, and any various other political parties, even the National Freedom Party, NFP. He's saying that first and foremost, before everybody here is a member of these parties, they are a Zulu person, and that they should go to every corner of life, even saying that teachers, nurses, and everybody, even in political parties, the IFP, the ANC, everybody must discuss this issue of land of the Zulu kingdom beyond political borders, and saying that they must discuss it thoroughly, and that once and foremost, all these three parts that he will be going to, he will be having an imbizo in Durban and other imbizos in the province, and once those consultations are done, he will wrap them up and give Umkombandlela, which would be a way forward for the Zulu nation. There will be imbizos all over the province. People must be talk about this land issue in their homes, in the words of King Goodwill Zwelithini. And then once all those processes are done and he's held all these 3 imbizos that he will be rolling out in the province, he will then wrap them up and give Umkombandlela, which he will then give away and give a signal and a command to the regiments Amabutho on the way forward, which will King Goodwill Zwelithini will have the final say on that.
Samkele, also perhaps very briefly, speak to us about that program today. Who was afforded an opportunity to share the platform with the King?
I'm laughing there, Kathy, because Carl Niehaus from MKMVA had something to say. You had someone from the Radical Economic Transformation Champions, who are the ones who first came out and said after the King that KZN borders should probably be closed and President Cyril Ramaphosa can have his South Africa and the Kingdom of the Zulu will be a separate or an independent country from the rest of South Africa. And then you had a number of traditional leaders from all the houses in KwaZulu-Natal. You had King Inkosi Chiliza from the House of Traditional Leaders of KwaZulu-Natal. He did address here. You had Inkosi from Umkhanyakude also speaking, and Amakosi from other parts of the country. They had messages to say that they trust Ingonyama, they have trust in Ingonyama Trust, and they don't want it to be that act to be repealed. You had Inkosi Buthelezi speaking on behalf of the Buthelezi clan, also here saying that he dated the history of how the Ingonyama Trust came about. You remember, Kathy, that he was instrumental in the formation of Ingonyama Trust alongside former President Nelson Mandela, whom he said that he was there along F.W. Botha and that he did it in daylight, and that those who are saying that Ingonyama Trust came about at night weren't even born when he thought about this act prior to the 1994 democratic dispensation.